I've spent 32 years studying cellular aging, analyzing thousands of tissue samples, and tracking my own biomarkers obsessively. At 67, my biological age reads 56 on DNA methylation clocks. My VO2 max exceeds the average 30-year-old. My grip strength beats most men in their 40s. This isn't luck. It's the result of understanding exactly what happens to the human body after 80 and intervening decades before it becomes irreversible. Today, I'm sharing the 5 biological shifts that will happen to every person who lives long enough and the evidence-based protocols I've used to delay them. The most consequential change after 80 isn't cognitive decline. It's catastrophic muscle loss, sarcopenia. Between 30 and 80, the average person loses 30–40% of their muscle mass. Between 80 and 90, they can lose another 15 to 20%, nearly half their remaining muscle in a single decade. The mechanism involves 4 converging failures. Anabolic resistance. Aging muscle stops responding properly to protein and exercise. Senescent cells. Zombie cells, secreting toxic inflammatory signals that block muscle repair mitochondrial dysfunction, forcing the body to break down muscle for energy. Hormonal collapse. Growth hormone falls to less than 20% of youthful levels. Why does this matter so much? Muscle is the body's largest metabolic organ. It handles 80% of insulin-stimulated glucose uptake. Lose muscle, and you become insulin resistant. Sarcopenia after 80 increases mortality risk 2 to 3-fold. It's the single greatest predictor of nursing home admission. My protocol: resistance training 4 days weekly at 75–85% of 1 rep max. Protein at 1.6–2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, distributed across 4 and 5 meals. Creatine monohydrate 5 grams daily. Vitamin D3 at 5,000 IU to maintain serum levels of 60–80 ng/ml. Result: at 67, my lean mass sits in the 85th percentile for men in their 40s. Every cell in your body runs on mitochondria. After 80, mitochondrial function doesn't decline. It collapses. Mitochondrial DNA mutations accumulate in a vicious cycle. Damaged mitochondria produce more reactive oxygen species, which cause more DNA damage, which creates more dysfunctional mitochondria. Complex I and complex FR activity drop 30 to 40%. NAD+ levels, essential for cellular energy, fall by 50% by age 60 and keep falling. The brain, heart, and skeletal muscles suffer most. Cognitive decline, heart failure, and sarcopenia all share mitochondrial dysfunction as a root cause. My protocol: time-restricted eating in a 6 to 8 hour window daily, activating AMPK and triggering mitochondrial biogenesis. High-intensity interval training twice weekly, the only intervention shown to actually reverse age-related mitochondrial decline, not merely slow it. CoQ10 in ubiquinol form at 200 milligrams daily. Cold exposure, daily cold showers, weekly ice baths. Result: my VO2 max is 42 mg/min. Cold exposure, daily cold showers, weekly ice baths. Result: my VO2 max is 42 mg/min. The average 67-year-old measures 27 to 30. Autophagy is your cellular recycling system. It removes damaged proteins, dysfunctional organelles, and accumulated debris. After 80, autophagy efficiency drops by 50 to 70%. Without it, toxic protein aggregates accumulate: amyloid beta in the brain, alpha-synuclein in dopaminergic neurons. These are the hallmarks of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Senescent cells, which autophagy should eliminate, accumulate exponentially after 80. Research shows their burden increases roughly 15-fold between ages 20 and 80, with the steepest rise after 70. These zombie cells actively release inflammatory signals that damage surrounding tissue, suppress stem cell function, and accelerate aging system-wide. This is inflammaging, the chronic low-grade inflammation driving virtually every age-related disease. My protocol: extended fasting, monthly 36 to 48-hour fasts, quarterly 72-hour fasts. Autophagy reaches meaningful activation only after 24 hours and peaks between 48 to 72 hours. spermidine at 6 mg daily, one of the few compounds demonstrated to activate autophagy independent of caloric restriction. High-intensity exercise, which raises autophagy markers 40 to 50% post-session. Result: my HSCRP, a key inflammatory marker, measures 0.3 mg/L. The average for men my age is 2.5. After 80, the brain isn't simply slower, it's structurally different. The prefrontal cortex shrinks 10 and 15%. The hippocampus loses 1 to 2% of its volume every year after 60. White matter degrades, slowing signal transmission. BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, essentially fertilizer for neurons, drops 40–50% between young adulthood and age 80. The blood-brain barrier becomes leaky, allowing inflammatory molecules to enter. Microglia, the brain's immune cells, shift from protecting neurons to damaging them. My protocol: aerobic exercise is the single most powerful brain intervention. 12 months of consistent aerobic training has been shown to increase hippocampal volume by 2%, reversing 1 to 2 years of age-related loss. Daily cognitive challenge with genuinely novel, difficult material, not comfortable repetition. Omega-3 fatty acids at 3 grams EPA DHA daily. Lion's mane mushroom at 1,000 datamabros, one of the few compounds shown to increase nerve growth factor in humans. Sleep of 7 to 8 hours with attention to deep sleep architecture, which activates the glymphatic system to flush amyloid beta from the brain. Result: my Mosier cognitive score has held at 2930 for 12 consecutive years. Hippocampal volume on recent MRI sits at the 75th percentile for my age. The endocrine system operates like an orchestra. After 80, that orchestra doesn't slow, it falls apart. Testosterone in men often drops below 300 ng/dL by 80, compared to 500–800 in young men. DHEA, the body's most abundant steroid hormone, declines 80–90% between ages 20 and 80. Melatonin drops 80%, disrupting sleep architecture and antioxidant defenses. Cortisol rhythm flattens, elevating at night when it should be lowest, driving sleep disruption, muscle breakdown, and visceral fat accumulation. Insulin resistance worsens not just from pancreatic decline, but at the receptor level, triggering hyperinsulinemia that suppresses autophagy, increases inflammation, and accelerates aging through mTOR overactivation. My protocol: resistance training and sleep optimization are foundational. They affect every hormonal system simultaneously. Vitamin D3 at 5,000 IU daily, which functions as a hormone precursor. Ashwagandha KSM 66 at 600 mg, shown in RCTs to reduce cortisol 27% and increase testosterone 17%. Low-dose melatonin at 0.5 to 1 mg before bed. DHEA 25 mg under physician supervision. Result: testosterone at 582 ng/dL, above average for men in their 30s. Low-dose melatonin at 0.5 to hours before bed. DHEA 25 mg under physician supervision. Result: testosterone at 582 ng/dL, above average for men in their 30s. Fasting insulin at 4.2, indicating excellent insulin sensitivity. Normal diurnal cortisol pattern maintained. These 5 changes, sarcopenia, mitochondrial collapse, autophagy failure, neuroplasticity decline, and hormonal disintegration, will happen to everyone who lives long enough. But understanding the mechanism is empowering because we can intervene. If I had to recommend just one starting point, resistance training. It directly targets every single one of these 5 systems. It builds muscle, drives mitochondrial biogenesis, activates autophagy, boosts BDNF, and improves the entire hormonal environment. No single intervention touches all 5. Is it too late to start at 70 or 80? Research shows meaningful muscle gains in subjects up to age 96. Neuroplasticity persists throughout life. By every objective measure, body composition, metabolic markers, cognitive testing, biological age clocks, I function as a man 11 years younger. This is not genetics. Multiple family members have followed typical aging trajectories. This is the result of consistent, evidence-based intervention over decades. The changes after 80 are inevitable only if you do nothing. I've given you the mechanisms. I've given you the evidence. I've shown you what's possible. What you do with it is up to you.